Hi guys, on today's video, we're going to review Module 3 of SMED. This is an example of a real SMED apply on a medical devices company. On this video, you will see how by following the 8 steps that we saw on Module 2, we were able to reduce the changeover time on a press from 37 minutes to only 7 minutes. Yeah, you hear me right, from 37 to only 7 minutes. For personal reasons, I decided to remove some slides and information from the original presentation, including the name of the participants and some confidential numbers about this company. So we're gonna just focus on the content related to SMED, single minute exchange of dice. One of the first and essential activities during any Kaizen event, and most of the time ignore or skip, is what we call the Jumbo Walks. It's very important that all the team members, including management, complete these Jumbo Walks to get to know the process, and also they can make an initial assessment on the current state. During the Jumbo Walk, the team completed the step number 1, which consists on record the process as we saw in Module 2. Also, during the Gemba walk while recording, other team members conducted the 5S audit. And as you can see here on before situation, the score is 2.8 in a scale of 5. Then we use this SMED template. It's basically an Excel spreadsheet designed to document times and activities. On the left part, we see all the activities you have to do to complete the changeover. Then on the element column, we see the time that every activity takes. On category column is the classification of the activities, whether external or internal. This is something that we already saw in Module 2. And as you can see here, before all the improvements, all the activities were internal, meaning after stopping the machine, they used to start the changeover, not before. They were not doing any activity in advance. After the team watched the changeover video in multiple times, the team started to come up with some ideas for improvement. One thing I do to make them participate is to give to every member of the team 3 post-its, and they have to write down at least 3 ideas for improvement along with their name. And then every member has to post their ideas in a whiteboard and explain on what consists every idea. Trust me, the best ideas will come out from the people who do the job on a daily basis, not from you. This is the action plan of all the feasible ideas during the brainstorming session. You can have all the ideas and the best intention, but you have to convert these ideas into actions if you really want to see improvement. At the end of the brainstorming session, a total of 31 improvements opportunities were documented. Also, as part of the Kaizen event, we did an spaghetti diagram to show all the distance that the setup guy had to walk to get the cards and dice from the dice storage room to the press. We'll see the details on the next slide. In summary, before 890 feet walked, and after the improvements that I'm just about to show you, only 102 feet. It's basically a reduction of 89% of the total distance. Let me show you on what consists that improvement. The video starts with the setup guy walking to the dice room, and just for the sake of this module, I increase the speed of the video. He's heading to the room to get the dice card. He's looking for the card. After he finds it, he had to complete a form, which we consider a non-value added activity. Once he arrives to the press, he has to raise the card table at the same height of the bolster press, using a pedal multiple times. Now he's able to take off the old die from the machine to take it to the dice room. Take a look on all the distance he has to walk over and over again. Once he gets the new die, he has to come back to the press P46 and ask for someone to clean the bolster up. And repeat the same process of using the pedal to raise up the cart. And lastly, place the dice into the press machine. And this only includes the time for transportation, not installation time. Total transportation time 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Now let's watch the video after the improvement. The setup guy has to walk only a few steps to get the cart. and the height of the cart is already adjusted at the same level of the bolster press. Take a look on the green circle. So he doesn't have to use the pedal in multiple times, only take off the old die and place the new one. And as you can see here, the main improvement consists on placing a rack for dice just outside the machine and eliminate all the travel distance to the dice room. On before situation, the setup guy had to walk 890 feet, taking 11 minutes and 7 seconds. After the improvement, only 102 feet, taking 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's see some productivity improvements. On the left side, we can see how the press used to look like. And on the right side is how the press looks like right now after the improvements. We will get into the details of this. Before situation, there wasn't any holster for the air gun and no space to install a rack for dice. The maintenance guys relocated the tank on the rear part of the press to free up some space, and then they placed a rack for dice just outside the machine to avoid excessive walking. On before situation, they were using a combination wrench to remove the balls from this press. After the improvements, the wrench was replaced by a pneumatic tool. As we can see here, the time drastically reduced from 45 seconds per bolt to only 14 seconds, and this includes takeoff and put on for a single bolt. This press needs a total of 4 bolts. As we saw on previous slides, they haven't applied 5S on this machine, so all the tools didn't have a proper place to be stored. After the improvements, a holder was installed to store all the tools and bolts needed during the changeover. Another improvement proposed by the team was to replace this metal air hose by one made of plastic. Before, they had to use pliers to remove and put it back the hose, and now they only have to move the hose by only using their hands, and then you can take off the dies. As part of the changeover, the first and also the last activity that you have to do is to remove a funnel to be able to place the card table with the bolster press. To complete this activity, on before situation, they had to use a hex keys, taking almost 3 minutes, and after the team came up with this idea, that is also recommended on Shigeo Shingo's book, they were able to do it in only 15 seconds. And the solution is pretty simple. They made 2 holes in the tray, one bigger than the other, so you have to use the bigger hole to align it with the screw, and then you let go the tray to automatically install it. As part of any Kaizen event, you have to include safety improvements. On before situation, they didn't have a sensor to stop the machine in case of opening the window. Worst case scenario, someone opens the window to start the changeover and the press could be still working. The team installed a sensor that if the window is open, the machine automatically turns off. Also, the lockout tagout button was relocated from the side part of the press to the front part. This also eliminates walking around the machine during the changeover. After all the improvements we just saw, the team conducted another 5S audit using this radar chart. New score is 4.5 on a scale of 5. As I said on Module 2, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. The new method was written under a work instruction, and now it belongs to the quality system. If someone new is hired for this operation, he will know exactly what steps to follow to perform a quick changeover. This graph shows the initial time it used to take to complete the changeover, a total of 36 minutes and 45 seconds. After all the improvements we just saw, and by practicing a lot, the setup guy was able to complete the changeover in only 7 minutes and 37 seconds. This wraps up this lesson and also the SMED trilogy. If you stayed until this point, thank you so much for your most valuable asset, your time.